They thought Earth would beg for mercy. Instead, we made them kneel. HFY. Sci-Fi Story. The sky above Earth changed in a single hour. People first noticed it as a strange shadow moving across the blue. At first, many thought it was a cloud or a trick of light. Then the shadow grew wider, darker, and sharper at the edges. Screens across the world flickered as satellites sent the same image again and again. Massive shapes hung in space, silent and unmoving, like black islands blocking the stars. Panic followed quickly. Flights were grounded, streets filled with people staring upward. News channels struggled to keep calm voices on the air while showing the same terrifying images. No one had ever seen ships like these. They were too large, too smooth, too perfectly still. In a quiet underground room far from any city, a group of men and women watched the data pour in. They were scientists, engineers, analysts, and military planners from different nations. Many had never met before today. Now they stood shoulder to shoulder, united by fear and responsibility. One of the analysts, a young man with tired eyes, spoke softly. They are holding position above all major regions. Not just one place. Everywhere that matters. No one answered him. They already understood what that meant. Minutes later, every screen on Earth went black. Then a new image appeared. The figure on the screen was tall and thin, with pale skin and eyes like cold glass. It wore no armor, only a dark uniform marked with symbols no human could read. When it spoke, its voice was flat and emotionless, yet perfectly clear in every language. "People of Earth," the figure said, "your world now stands before the authority of a greater power. You will comply." The message was short. There was no shouting, no anger, no threat spoken loudly. That made it worse. Earth was ordered to surrender control of its space, its advanced technology, and a portion of its population for labor. Resistance, the figure said, would result in correction. The screen went dark again. Across the world, fear turned into chaos. Governments argued, markets collapsed. Some leaders spoke of negotiation, others spoke of prayer. Many expected the worst within hours. But hours passed, and Earth said nothing. In the underground room, the council listened to reports from every continent. Cities were tense but standing. Military forces were ready but holding. There had been no answer sent to the alien fleet. A senior planner finally broke the silence. "They expect fear. They expect us to beg." A scientist nodded. Their message was not a request. It was an order. Another voice spoke, calm but firm. "And orders can be studied." That was when the real work began. Instead of replying, humans watched. They tracked the alien ships, their movements, their energy patterns. Engineers compared the designs with known physics. Analysts studied the alien speech for hidden meaning. One pattern became clear. The alien fleet was powerful, but it was also careful. It stayed at a distance. It did not strike cities. It did not fire weapons. It waited. "They are certain of victory," the young analyst said later. So certain that they see no need to rush. Above Earth, inside one of the massive ships, the alien commanders waited with confidence. They had conquered dozens of worlds. Every species had reacted the same way. Fear first, then pleading, then obedience. Earth was different only in size and noise, they believed. It would fall, like all the others. When no reply came after several hours, annoyance spread among the commanders. "Transmit again," one ordered. "Increase pressure." A smaller vessel moved forward and fired a single energy pulse into empty space near Earth's orbit. The blast lit up the darkness like a brief false sunrise. Satellites nearby were destroyed instantly. On Earth, alarms sounded. Communication systems adjusted. Backup networks activated. People screamed, expecting cities to burn next. But still, Earth did not answer. In the underground room, the council watched the damage reports. "It was bad, but not deadly. They are warning us," said one engineer. "They want fear, not destruction." "Not yet." The calm voice spoke again. "Then let them wait." As night fell across parts of the planet, people stayed awake, glued to screens or staring at the sky. Parents held their children. Soldiers waited by machines they hoped they would never use. In a small observatory, far from any city, a group of researchers worked quietly. They had been ignored for years, their projects seen as too slow, too old, or too strange. Now their work mattered. One of them pointed at a display. "Their ships bend space slightly to stay stable. That takes energy. A lot of it." Another replied, "Which means they cannot move freely and attack at the same time." It was a small thought, but small thoughts had changed history before. In orbit, alien commanders grew impatient. "Why do they not answer?" one demanded. "Every species answers." "They are primitive," another said. "They do not understand the situation." A lead commander watched Earth silently. "They understand," it said at last. "They are choosing delay." That idea caused discomfort. On Earth, the Council reached a quiet agreement. No surrender, no threats, no message at all. Instead, preparations deepened. Factories shifted production without announcement. Old ships were pulled from storage. Systems thought useless were powered up again. Data moved through hidden channels, away from alien eyes. People still feared the sky. But beneath that fear, something else began to grow. Resolve. Late that night, the alien fleet made its next move. Another warning blast fired closer this time. The energy wave shook Earth's upper atmosphere, lighting the skies in red and white streaks. Power grids flickered. Windows shattered in some cities. Screams echoed. The alien message returned, sharper now. "This is your final chance," the voice said. "Submit." In the underground room, every eye turned to the main screen. The council members waited for the order to reply. It never came. The screen stayed dark. Above Earth, the alien commanders stared in disbelief. Earth had not begged. Earth had not answered at all. And for the first time since their empire had risen, the invaders felt something unfamiliar: uncertainty. The world had not fallen. After the alien warning blasts, Earth held firm. Across continents, people looked at the skies with fear, yet there was no panic that broke the spirit. Humans were shaken, yes, but not defeated. Governments coordinated emergency measures, moving populations from vulnerable areas and reinforcing defenses in ways the invaders could not yet see. In the hidden command centers, analysts studied the aliens' every move, every energy pulse, every pattern of the ships in orbit was recorded and examined. It became clear that the aliens were powerful, but they were predictable in their methods. They were confident that humans would react with fear, but no reaction came. A young strategist known for thinking in unusual ways spoke softly to the council. They are waiting for us to beg. If we do not, they are uncertain now. That is our advantage. Others nodded, understanding the truth in his words. For the first time in history, humans were not responding to an enemy's command out of fear. They were learning it, analyzing it, and preparing to act. Satellite feeds showed minor damage from the alien pulses, but humans adapted quickly. Engineers rerouted energy systems, pilots maneuvered remaining satellites into safety, and automated defenses repaired themselves within minutes. Every step the aliens took, humans countered quietly, without drawing attention. In a small observatory far from any major city, a group of researchers monitored alien signals. They noticed a flaw. The aliens relied on automated systems for coordination. Their commands were transmitted quickly and efficiently, but they were rigid. If disrupted, the system could hesitate. Humans had never faced such a fleet before, but they understood that this flaw was a door. Even a small mistake can cause chaos, one researcher said, eyes glued to the screen. Back in orbit, the alien commanders felt frustration growing. They had expected fear, submission, a simple bending of wills. Instead, Earth waited silently. Each day of silence chipped at their certainty. Why do they not respond? One alien asked. Its voice was cold, but tinged with irritation. They are primitive, another replied. They do not understand what is at stake. The lead commander studied Earth from its command ship. It sensed a strange energy in the planet's population, something it had not felt before in any conquered species. It could not name it, but it made the alien uneasy. The humans were calm in the face of certain defeat. On the ground, humanity's leaders met quietly, away from public view. They were no longer reacting. They were planning. Military strategists discussed what small forces could achieve. Engineers proposed modifications to older technologies, and scientists shared every new insight they had gained from observing the aliens. A young engineer pointed to the models of alien vessels. They bend space slightly to stabilize themselves. That takes energy. They cannot attack and move freely at the same time. That is our opening. The council considered this, then nodded. Even small advantages could be used against such a massive opponent. Humans began to prepare subtle defenses, designing strategies that did not rely on strength alone. Meanwhile, in orbit, the aliens continued to test Earth's reactions. They fired another energy pulse closer to the planet. Cities trembled, windows shattered, and people screamed. Yet humans did not reply with aggression. They adapted quickly, keeping casualties low and infrastructure intact. Earth was alive, unbroken, and observant. A senior commander on one of the alien ships demanded action. They are testing us. They are mocking our patience. Strike them fully. Show them the cost of defiance. Another officer hesitated. Do not underestimate them. Their silence is not weakness. We have never encountered a species like this. They are patient, observant, dangerous. The lead commander ignored the warning. We will remind them. Once we crush their defenses, they will bend. All worlds have done so. Back on Earth, the council worked into the night. No announcements were made. No alarm was raised to the public beyond what was necessary to maintain calm. The world's most brilliant minds were quietly preparing for a confrontation the rest of humanity barely imagined. Each modification, each plan, each adjustment brought humans closer to turning the tide. And from isolated command centers to hidden underground laboratories, Humans collaborated like never before. They shared knowledge freely, built alliances across nations, and adapted at a speed that even the aliens could not predict. One pilot, assigned to a small fleet of modified older spacecraft, said quietly, "They think we will beg. They do not know that we have been learning their weaknesses every hour." In orbit, the alien fleet advanced slightly, testing the defenses further. They sent another ship closer to the planet to scan and intimidate. The humans observed in silence, recording every movement, every transmission, every pulse of energy. They did not strike yet, but they were ready. The aliens believed Earth would panic. They believed fear would lead to obedience. But every day that passed without a surrender, their confidence eroded. Fear had not emerged. Only calculation, patience, and quiet resistance. In the underground room where Earth's leaders gathered, one voice reflected the growing truth. They are not attacking full force. They expect us to beg. But we will not. We will prepare. And we will wait. Meanwhile, civilians across the world followed events with trepidation. Some prayed, some panicked, some watched in silent fascination. No one could fully grasp the scale of what was coming, yet there was a shared sense that something had changed. Humans no longer faced certain defeat. They were quietly learning, quietly preparing, quietly becoming dangerous. Even as night deepened over cities and oceans and alien pulses continued to ripple through the atmosphere, humans adapted. Repair crews worked tirelessly. Communication networks shifted to hidden channels. Pilots tested spacecraft under emergency conditions. Scientists simulated every potential move the aliens could make. Every small success built confidence. Every minor adaptation, every clever observation, made humans stronger in ways the aliens could not yet see. And in orbit, the alien commanders began to notice hesitation among their own ranks. Ships paused unexpectedly. Signals failed. Some officers questioned orders. The empire that had never faced uncertainty now sensed it for the first time. "They are unusual," one officer said quietly. "They are not afraid. They are primitive," another replied stubbornly. Yet something in their silence, it is unsettling. The lead commander frowned, something alien and unfamiliar crossing its mind. Patience had always brought obedience. Silence should have brought submission. But Earth did neither. It waited. It adapted. It observed. In quiet laboratories and command rooms around the world, humans smiled quietly at their observations. They had not yet struck. They had not yet revealed their strength. But each day of patience brought them closer to the moment when the aliens would realize that Earth did not bend. It did not beg. It waited for the right time to act. The aliens fired another warning pulse. It illuminated the night sky over cities, throwing shadows across the terrified but resilient population. They expected screams, cries, and collapse. Instead, humans quietly repaired, adapted, and learned. The lead alien commander watched, cold and precise, feeling an emotion it did not fully understand. Unease. Confusion. For the first time in centuries, certainty faltered. On Earth, the Council knew the truth. Humans were still standing, watching, waiting, and preparing. They had chosen silence as their weapon. They had chosen patience as their shield. The aliens believed they had arrived to conquer. They believed the humans would beg. But Earth had another plan. They had already begun to learn the ways to turn fear into power and observation into strategy. The world held its breath. The present and the aliens waited, confident that obedience would come. It would not. The first real sign that humans could fight came without warning. The alien fleet advanced slightly, expecting Earth to react in fear. Instead, human ships launched from hidden bases. Old spacecraft, some nearly forgotten, had been modified in secret for speed, agility, and stealth. They struck at the edges of the alien formations, firing brief pulses to disable communication links before retreating into the atmosphere. The aliens had never faced such tactics, and their reactions were slow and confused. On Earth, the Underground Council watched the strikes live. They had calculated every move, every trajectory, and every energy pulse. The small fleet did not aim to destroy the alien ships outright. Their purpose was to test, to disrupt, and to learn. Each attack revealed more about the enemy's weaknesses. A young pilot, gripping the controls of a retrofitted fighter, whispered, "They think we are weak. They do not see us coming." In orbit, the alien commanders were furious. Their systems had been interrupted, their formations confused. The rigid, automated networks that had served them well on other worlds faltered. They had expected obedience. They had expected fear. Instead, humans struck, calculated and precise. An alien officer raised a question, cautious but ignored by superiors. "Arakan, their actions are unpredictable. We cannot anticipate their next move." The lead commander dismissed the concern. "They are primitive. They will not last." But the strike had consequences. The aliens began losing control over small sections of their fleet. Minor collisions occurred between ships. Energy pulses misfired. Signals became delayed and confused. For the first time, humans had forced a crack in the alien formation. On the ground, scientists and strategists pored over the results. Every detail was recorded, analyzed, and used to prepare for the next strike. Humans learned quickly, faster than the aliens could adjust. Each observation was a tool, each calculation a weapon. Another fleet of human pilots waited, hidden in the clouds and mountains. Their orders were clear: strike and retreat. Observe and report. They had no need to win battles yet. Knowledge was more valuable than destruction. The alien lead commander watched in frustration as the humans struck again and again. Each assault was small, barely noticeable in scale, yet each left the aliens more confused. Their rigid command networks, designed to dominate, now threatened to fail because of human ingenuity. A young analyst in the council room noted, "They do not understand our patience. They think silence is weakness. But every strike we make teaches us more about them." Another voice agreed. "And every mistake they make, we use against them." In orbit, the alien fleet grew tense. Officers whispered among themselves, questioning the logic of the humans. Ships that had moved like a single entity now hesitated. The humans had not destroyed them, but they had disrupted their confidence. The empire that had conquered countless species now faced uncertainty for the first time. On Earth, civilians sensed something unusual. Reports of strange aerial displays spread quickly. Some were frightened, some hopeful. No one yet knew the full scale of the human strategy. But the world began to see that humans could resist. In the underground room, a senior strategist smiled faintly. "They think they are teaching fear. We are teaching observation." And it works. The aliens decided to respond with a full-scale assault. They believed the humans had shown their true strength, and they sought to crush it before it could grow. Energy pulses swept through the upper atmosphere, striking at human defense networks. Cities shook, Satellites were disabled, and humans watched carefully, adapting to each move. Even in the chaos, humans remained calm. Engineers rerouted power, pilots maneuvered ships to safety, and defense systems countered attacks with minimal loss. Each reaction had been calculated. Each failure had been anticipated. The alien commanders were growing desperate. They had never encountered a species that adapted so quickly. Every strike they launched, every new attack, was met with resistance, with countermeasures, with intelligence. Humans were learning faster than they could destroy. A junior alien officer, fearful and confused, warned the lead commander, "They are not ordinary. Every day, they grow more dangerous. Perhaps we should reconsider the strategy." The lead commander was silent for a moment. The thought was unfamiliar, uncomfortable. We will not fail. We have never failed. Back on Earth, the Underground Council continued their work. They had not yet revealed all their strategies, but they had already set the stage for something larger. Each small victory in the skies above was a lesson. Each observation a step toward a plan that would change the balance of power. The humans struck again that evening, small teams moving swiftly and unpredictably. Each action disrupted alien systems and forced the commanders to reconsider their tactics. Confidence cracked. Orders that were once followed without question now hesitated. Human ingenuity was spreading uncertainty through the alien fleet. An analyst noted, "They believe they control us, but every move they make, we see. Every mistake they make, we learn." The lead human strategist nodded. "And when the time comes, we will use all that knowledge." In orbit, the aliens prepared another warning pulse, larger than before. They intended to remind humans of their power, to force submission. But when it fired, human systems had already adapted. The pulse caused only minor disruption, failing to break human resolve. It was the first sign that the aliens had misjudged Earth entirely. The lead alien commander realized something frightening. Humans were not fighting blindly. They were learning, adapting, predicting. Each small strike, each observation, each response was building toward something the aliens could not yet comprehend. On Earth, the Underground Council recorded every detail. Every strike and counterstrike, every adaptation and reaction was analyzed. Humans were not just surviving. They were growing stronger with each encounter. Knowledge had become their weapon, patience their shield. The alien fleet paused, frustrated and confused. Confidence that had once been absolute was now shaken. Orders were questioned, hesitation grew, and doubt spread. A species that had once conquered countless worlds now faced the reality that Earth was not so easily subdued. The first human victory had not been in destruction, but in disruption. They had shown that the alien fleet could be challenged, that mistakes could be forced, that uncertainty could spread, and in that uncertainty, humans found hope. A young pilot returning from another strike whispered to a teammate, "They thought we would beg. They thought we would hide. But we fight smart, and we are learning." The alien commanders, despite their power, had never encountered a species like this. Their rigid systems, their expectations of fear and submission, now faced a challenge they could not quickly overcome. On Earth, the Council worked through the night, refining plans, learning from every movement, preparing for the next strike. Humans had not yet unleashed their full strength. The alien fleet had not yet seen what patience, intelligence, and coordination could achieve. The world held its breath as the skies glowed with distant energy pulses, with small human ships striking and retreating. Humans observed, adapted, and prepared. The first signs of defiance had appeared, and they were only the beginning. The alien fleet had believed it would bend Earth with fear. Instead, Earth had made its first strike. The alien commanders were no longer confident. Every small strike, every clever move from Earth had shaken their certainty. They decided to escalate. A full fleet would descend on a major city, the heart of human industry and population, to crush morale and demonstrate power. On Earth, humans had anticipated such a move. Civilians were quietly evacuated, city grids were reinforced, and the streets became empty in key areas. The city became a trap, not a target. Humans had prepared layers of defenses that the aliens could not detect from space. Every building, every street, and every underground tunnel was mapped and rigged for tactical advantage. In command centers hidden beneath mountains and forests, the Council monitored the alien approach. Pilots and soldiers waited quietly, ready to strike at the precise moment. Engineers had modified old systems into tools of deception. Every sensor and every satellite had been repositioned to confuse the enemy. As the alien fleet entered the atmosphere, it expected resistance and panic. Instead, it met silence and preparation. Energy pulses struck, and buildings shook. But the human systems absorbed much of the damage. Streets were empty, power grids rerouted, and defensive shields held strong in secret. Small units of humans struck unexpectedly. They moved through underground tunnels, ambushed alien units, and disabled smaller ships with precise strikes. They did not fight for glory, but for calculation, forcing alien commanders to reconsider every move. The lead alien commander grew frustrated. It had expected cities to fall in hours, but now a small hidden force caused chaos and disruption. Their carefully constructed plans failed against a species that adapted faster than anticipated. Above, alien ships fired relentlessly, attempting to force submission. But every strike was met with countermeasures that humans had quietly put in place. Signals were jammed, energy pulses reflected, and small human fleets continued to disrupt formations. Each human move was unpredictable yet effective. In a small control room, a young officer watched live feeds. They are learning faster than we expected. Every move we make, they adapt and counter. Another strategist nodded. We have not seen their full strength yet. They are holding back, observing, and waiting. Underground, humans used the chaos to their advantage. They captured alien equipment, studied alien strategies, and adapted quickly. Engineers reverse-engineered energy weapons, pilots practiced new tactics, and soldiers prepared for the next strike. Every failure of the aliens became a lesson for humanity. Meanwhile, alien morale began to falter. Officers whispered concerns, questioning the competence of commanders. Ships moved hesitantly. Systems that had once been rigidly obedient now faltered under the pressure of human unpredictability. In the chaos, one young human pilot flew close to a larger alien vessel. With careful precision, they struck at critical systems and retreated before the alien could respond. The attack was small but symbolic. Humanity had proven it could not be easily crushed. The lead alien commander watching the assault realized with alarm that humans were not like other species. They did not panic. They did not beg. They learned. They adapted. And every adaptation made them stronger. Back on Earth, the Council observed the alien reaction. Each mistake the aliens made was recorded, studied, and used to prepare further countermeasures. Humans had not yet revealed their full strength, but the groundwork for a larger strategy was being laid quietly. Civilians, unaware of the detailed planning behind their survival, began to sense that something extraordinary was happening. Reports of strange aerial maneuvers, small victories, and undamaged infrastructure spread slowly. Fear was still present, but hope began to emerge alongside it. In orbit, alien commanders attempted to regain control, but uncertainty had taken root. They had expected fear and submission, but both were absent. Hesitation now appeared in their movements, doubt in their communications. For the first time, the alien fleet faced a species that could challenge them intellectually, not just physically. The battle in the city was not loud or dramatic in the traditional sense. It was precise, calculated, and relentless. Humans did not fight for destruction alone. They fought for knowledge, for observation, and for preparation. Every ambush, every minor strike, every disruption was a lesson for the future. The lead alien commander finally ordered a retreat, partially to regroup and consider new strategies. It was not a full defeat, but it was the first sign that Earth could resist beyond expectation. Underground, the council celebrated quietly. No one shouted, no one cheered. Their victory was in strategy, in observation, and in proving that humans could stand against overwhelming force without begging for mercy. As the alien ships retreated into orbit, hesitation marked their movements. Humans had not yet won, but they had forced the enemy to reconsider. They had made the first step in turning fear into a tool, preparation into a weapon, and patience into a shield. In the quiet that followed, humans continued their work. Engineers repaired, modified, and improved systems. Pilots trained, soldiers prepared, and strategists studied every possible move the aliens could make next. Humanity had shown its first true strength. The aliens believed they had arrived to conquer easily. They expected submission. They expected fear. Instead, they found resistance, intelligence, and patience that could not be crushed by energy or threat alone. And humans waited, ready to turn every lesson into advantage. The alien fleet had retreated slightly, but their confidence was gone. Doubt had spread among their ranks. Ships that had once moved like a single entity now hesitated. Commanders questioned their orders. Every day that humans survived, every small strike and countermeasure increased the unease in the alien hierarchy. On Earth, the Underground Council had studied the captured alien officer from a minor skirmish. They had treated him with care, giving him food, rest, and medical attention. In return, he had revealed crucial information about the alien empire. They depended on fear to control their forces. Orders were absolute, but only because obedience was enforced by punishment and loyalty was forced, not earned. Every unit feared failure more than death itself. A young analyst studied the officers' statements carefully. They are strong, yes, but fragile. Their loyalty is built on fear. If we can show doubt, we can break it. Another strategist nodded. And that is exactly what we will do. We do not need to destroy them yet. We need to make them question their purpose. The humans began crafting a plan. Using communication channels captured from alien ships, they prepared a broadcast that would reach the entire fleet. It would expose the lies their leaders had told, reveal their weaknesses, and plant seeds of doubt among soldiers and officers alike. Meanwhile, pilots and engineers prepared for the next stage. Small human fleets moved in secret, striking and retreating, testing new strategies, gathering data. They did not aim to destroy, only to learn. Every strike, every maneuver was designed to create observation points for a larger operation. In orbit, alien commanders noticed hesitation among their ranks. Ships paused unexpectedly, and some units refused to advance. The lead commander was angry and confused. Why do they not obey? Why is there doubt? Junior officers whispered concerns. The humans are clever. They are patient. They are teaching us that fear is not absolute. The lead commander ignored them, insisting on order, but the uncertainty had taken root. It spread quietly, subtly, but unmistakably. For the first time, the alien fleet was not united in purpose. On Earth, humans launched their broadcast. It was carefully constructed, a combination of factual observations, alien truths, and carefully planted questions. It spread across the fleet's communication systems, reaching officers and soldiers alike. Slowly, uncertainty spread. Units hesitated, unsure if the commands they had always followed were correct. Morale weakened in ways humans had anticipated. The captured officer watched, realization dawning. They understand our fear. They know how to break it without firing a single shot. In orbit, some alien ships paused, unsure of whether to continue attacks or retreat. Orders were repeated, but hesitation spread like a virus. Confidence, once absolute, was gone. Back on Earth, the Council monitored every reaction. Each response was recorded, analyzed, and used to refine further strategies. Humans had not yet revealed their full strength. They had only shown that patience, intelligence, and subtle disruption could create cracks in the enemy's confidence. As the alien commanders debated their next move, humans quietly reinforced defenses and prepared additional fleets. Pilots trained, engineers modified systems, and strategists calculated every possible action. Every observation, every lesson had been stored for a moment that would matter most. Then came the warning. The lead alien commander prepared a massive attack, determined to crush humanity's spirit before it could grow stronger. The pulse was larger than any before, designed to destroy infrastructure, to terrorize, to force submission. Earth responded with calm efficiency. Defensive grids rerouted energy, cities absorbed the shock, and human fleets maneuvered with precision. The alien strike caused damage, but it did not break humans. It did not force begging, nor fear, nor surrender. A young pilot returned from a strike, exhausted but smiling. They think this will make us weak. They do not know we are learning faster than they can destroy. The alien commander realized the truth too late. Humans were not just surviving, they were adapting. Every failure, every attack, every small victory strengthened them. And now uncertainty had spread so far that the lead commander could no longer rely on absolute obedience. The captured officer spoke quietly to the humans. Your strategy is clever. You are patient, precise, and unpredictable. My people have never faced anything like this. You do not fight with fear. You fight with knowledge. The council nodded silently. Knowledge had become their weapon, patience their shield, and doubt in the enemy's heart had become their greatest ally. The alien fleet prepared for a final strike, the largest yet, aimed at forcing Earth to submit once and for all. But in their hesitation, their uncertainty, and their internal fear, humans had already gained the advantage. They had seen every move, calculated every consequence, and planted seeds of doubt that could not be removed. Human pilots, engineers, and strategists waited in silent readiness. Every lesson learned, every strike, every adaptation had been stored for this moment. The aliens thought they would bend Earth to their will. They did not yet understand the power of patience, strategy, and knowledge. The final strike would come. But Earth would not beg. Earth would not yield. Humans had learned too much. adapted too well, and prepared too thoroughly. The battle that was about to unfold would not only test strength, it would test intellect, patience, and the spirit that refused to bow. And the humans waited, ready to turn every lesson, every observation, every small strike into the ultimate advantage. The alien fleet had gathered for what it believed would be the final strike. Every ship was positioned, every pulse charged, every command repeated for maximum effect. They had seen humans resist, adapt, and counter, but they believed this final assault would end the conflict. Earth would kneel as all others had. They were wrong. Humans had prepared. Every strike, every observation, every lesson from the past weeks had been studied and used to create a final plan. Engineers had modified old systems into powerful countermeasures. Pilots had trained in every maneuver, every evasive tactic, every method to disrupt alien formations. Soldiers had studied alien behavior, learning patterns, weaknesses, and timing. The Underground Council monitored every display, every feed, every report. There was no fear in the room, only calm focus. They had not yet revealed the full strength of humanity. They had only tested, learned, and prepared. As the alien fleet moved closer, Earth launched a series of coordinated strikes. Small units disrupted energy channels. Pilots moved unpredictably through the sky, striking at weak points before vanishing. Defense systems countered every pulse, absorbed every blast, and reflected energy to confuse the enemy. The aliens had expected terror. They found precision, intelligence, and unexpected resistance. The alien lead commander realized too late that humanity had changed the battlefield. Their strikes were no longer isolated. They were calculated, connected, and relentless. Communication lines faltered. Confidence collapsed. Hesitation spread like wildfire across the fleet. A senior human strategist watched carefully. Every move they make, we counter. Every hesitation we exploit. This is the moment we have been preparing for. The aliens fired a massive energy wave toward the planet, the largest yet, expecting to overwhelm and crush. Humans were ready. Defensive grids absorbed the blast, diverting power to shields and countermeasures. Human fleets struck simultaneously, disabling the energy nodes that powered the alien attack. The massive wave dissipated, leaving the fleet exposed and vulnerable. Confusion spread among the alien ranks. Ships collided, energy channels failed, and minor explosions echoed through the void. The rigid command systems faltered. Orders went unanswered. Officers questioned each other. Morale collapsed faster than any human weapon could have achieved. Humans moved in with precision. Pilots struck at command ships, engineers hacked alien systems, and soldiers seized captured vessels. Every strike was carefully timed, every movement coordinated. Humanity did not fight with blind rage. They fought with intelligence, patience, and discipline. The captured officer watched, disbelief in his eyes. They have learned faster than we could anticipate. They are no ordinary species. They do not beg. They do not fear. They adapt. They conquer through knowledge. The alien lead commander, realizing the fleet was collapsing, attempted to order retreat. Some ships followed. Others hesitated, trapped by human strikes and system failures. Confusion ruled, where once certainty had prevailed. Human forces did not destroy the alien leaders. Instead, they forced them to surrender publicly. Captured command ships were displayed to the remaining fleet. Communication systems broadcasted the surrender across space. For the first time, alien soldiers saw their leaders kneel before humans, not because of fear, but because defeat was undeniable. The underground council observed quietly. There was no celebration, no cheering. Their victory was in intelligence, patience, and preparation. Humanity had proven a point. Fear was not required to win. Knowledge and adaptability could overcome overwhelming odds. Across Earth, civilians watched as alien communications broadcasted surrender messages. Relief, wonder, and a quiet pride spread. Humans had faced a superior force and emerged victorious. The planet had endured, adapted, and conquered through intelligence, strategy, and courage. In orbit, the remaining alien ships retreated, their empire shaken by a species they had underestimated. Confidence was replaced by uncertainty. Fear had not driven humans to bend. Humanity had risen, not by violence alone, but by outthinking, outlearning, and outlasting the invader. The young pilot who had struck at the command ship spoke quietly to a teammate. They thought Earth would beg. They thought we would hide. They did not know we were ready. The captured officer nodded, understanding at last. Your species does not kneel. Even when faced with death, you stand, adapt, and overcome. You are more dangerous than we ever imagined. Humans had not only survived, they had shown the galaxy that Earth could not be intimidated. Knowledge, patience, preparation, and adaptability had turned the tide. The planet sent a clear message. Humanity would endure, and no species would bend them without earning respect. The alien fleet disappeared into the distance, but the lesson remained. Humans had conquered fear itself. They had turned observation into power, patience into strength, and preparation into victory. The world was quiet now, but for the first time, humans could look up at the stars and know that they were not merely surviving. They were rising. They had won, not by begging, not by hiding, but by standing, fighting, and making the galaxy kneel to their will.